Oh, baby. I was extremely hyped when this game came out, and now I just spent 2 months playing it. Was the hype worth it? Let's find out. This is Metaphor ReFantazio. Don't go away. So to start, we have a lot to talk about, so let's just go right into it. The only reason why I was excited for this game was because I played through Persona 5, and now it's one of my favorite games of all time. So just based off that, I pre-ordered Metaphor, I played the demo, and I was there day one on release day. And now, 99 hours of gameplay time later, here's everything I gotta talk about. The story can hilariously be compounded down into, I'm gonna run for president, vote for me. So you're this boy who you get to name. I named my main character Proteus. Why?
Get a haircut. You're gonna be king someday.
And right off the bat, the first cutscene you see in this game is an assassination. Luis, the main antagonist, assassinating the king. Already we're getting into it. And there's no heir to the throne because the prince, the king's son, is dead. Or so everyone thinks. What's been covered up is the prince actually got attacked when he was younger. A curse inflicted upon his body, which can be dumbed down into a perma-coma kind of curse. And now that the king's been assassinated and the throne is up for grabs, you don't want the wrong person sitting in that spot of power. Your relationship to the prince from past cutscenes can be implied that you were best friends with him. So you have to go find a way to cure this curse. That's how this game starts.
I won't give up either. Trust me.
And what quickly ends up happening is that the only way to get close to Luis, as he is in the running for the throne, is to join the race for the throne. But apparently the now deceased king laid out some crazy magic just in case this scenario ever happened. His whole palace rises out of the ground. A giant rock with his face on it is now looming over the sky. Everyone and anyone has a chance to be on the throne. All you need is the people's support. So to get close to Luis, the guy who cursed the prince, you end up joining this race. And so do a lot of other candidates. You will meet upwards of like 10 or 20 other candidates in the running for the throne.
Katharina, why are you in a gauntlet runner?
Because I'm in the running for the throne, of course. Isn't that why you're out here? I'm sorry, but the throne will be mine. I can't afford to lose. Not when true change is at stake. Here and now.
And every candidate who chose to run is tasked with some missions. These missions bring you all across the land, spanning multiple different kind of things you can do. It's really like a whole adventure.
The gauntlet runner comes to a stop at its base.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's...
Certainly.
And this country of Uchronia, it's called, by the way.
A land I didn't make up.
And this adventure will take you all around the country. You will learn about the hierarchy of the tribes. There's lesser tribes, there's higher tribes, there's racial conflicts, there is just straight conflict. But let's sidestep into gameplay. And this is the part where people are going to go, it's a Persona copy and paste. And I'll be honest, you can't avoid the Persona parallels here. It's baked into the game. It's Atlas's calling card. And Metaphor uses the same sort of gameplay mix-up that Persona does. Half of the time you're spent in combat, which is turn-based, and the other half you're spending in time management, sort of slice-of-life social simulation. Now, for a 100-hour game where a lot of the time spent is just doing sort of quote-unquote mundane things, reading text, listening to dialogue, continuing short stories with your social links and party members, Luckily for me, I love the slice of life genre. But exactly who are you spending this time with? Well, traveling the country, you are inevitably meeting more people. Some people are important enough to be social links, those who you can go back to and raise a social link score up to 8. And some people are really important, and these members join your party. There's lots of characters that stand out, but I gotta talk about Yufa.
She's the fucking coolest.
Could it be a villager?
You must be the...
Priestess!
Hey, Del, let's go.
The difference between a normal social link and someone actually joining your party is basically they have a archetype awakening, usually happening at the character's lowest moment in a time where they need strength to come from the inside. That's usually when time seems to stand still and they gain their power. Early on, you'll gain party members like Leon, Stroll, and Hulkenberg, which is, like, I never got used to that name. But no greater standout than Yufa. I honestly wasn't even sure if she would join your party. Halfway through the game, you travel to this island in the ocean, and she's basically there to sacrifice her life to this dragon god that she's prepared her whole life for. There's crazy internal complexity happening inside her head that she ends up choosing to actually not sacrifice her life and live for the people of the island instead, and join your party to become a stronger person.
What can I do? You would have me abandon this end. You would send me away to live my life. But how? How can I? This is...
You know, personally for me, it's like, yo, this is like, I like this character if she joined our team. And then she has her archetype awakening. And these scenes never fall short of just starting the hype train on max throttle. I love these scenes, especially when Yufa's in them.
You come here only to be saved. Or will you find purpose beyond death to stand and fight as a savior?
I want to!
O Lodestar, ye torn maiden of faith, O thou anguished traveler.
I love that island. I love the smell of its verdant flora. But what I love more than anything is its people. Their words may be coarse, but their hearts are true. I must save them. Please!
Now, you might be thinking, well, I don't want to do the social links. What's the point of just reading dialogue to get a short story of 2 characters? What about the gameplay? This is Atlas's secret ingredient. Gameplay unlocks are actually locked to your social links. Leveling up a specific person's social link unlocks abilities used in gameplay. And I mean like strong abilities, like very useful ones. You cannot ignore these. But that's where the second side of social links comes in. Time management. No way the dude passed out like that. The time management in these games always restricts players in the best possible way. You only get 2 time slots every day. One during the day, one at night. So if there's, potentially 6 or 7 people you could potentially hang out with, you can only choose one at a time. And that will take up a time slot. Not only that, you also have your 5 royal virtues, aka your personal traits to level up. These are extremely important as well. You also have lots of side stuff. The Colosseum, for one, is a great place to spend time. But of course, time is a highly valuable asset. So what will you do? Well, it's up to the player. No way, what is this guy?
The honorable guardsman.
The
Barden.
commander.
Within him dwells the virtue of the commander. Nurture thy bond with him, and a new power yet
Okay.
slumbering within thee may
I gotta
awaken.
see what the commander's about. Bang, bang.
I shall protect the town you all saved.
He's got 3 levels. But enough about that. Let's get into the thing that I was most excited for Metaphor ReFantazio. In the demo, I said this. The whole archetype system is just something that I'm insanely excited for. Safe to say, I can't even actually believe I'm saying this, because how many games have I played? And I will say, Metaphor ReFantazio has the best combat system ever.
I'll give it my all.
The attack is over. Lend a hand myself.
Man, this is good.
Thank you.
Any way to kill an enemy in any game, Metaphor ReFantazio is my ultimate way to do it. The game gives you about 20 archetypes. Each archetype has its own skill set of moves. These are pretty okay. I like them. The more you play around with them, the stronger they get, and then you can level them up, sort of evolutionary-wise, Pokemon style. But then you add in a complex layer of inherited skills. I personally really liked the healer. But then the commander came in, and for my playing style, the commander was great. So I started leveling up the commander. But I didn't have any healing abilities. You can inherit skills from one archetype to another. Of course, this costs you Magla points, which is pretty, pricey, but it's worth it in the end. Now I had healing on my commander, but I didn't have to choose healing. I could have chosen strong magic attacks from the mage build. I could have chose buff or debuff effects from the faker archetype. And every party member you have gets their own archetype. Oh, it's getting close though. Oh my god. Severe? This chick just gets severe off spawn, man. What are these moves? Modified? Holy shit. Severe almighty damage too. This chick can cover all bases. So everyone has their own archetype, with potentially swapping skills from other archetypes within themselves. But let's add another layer. And this layer comes in the form of my favorite part of combat, synthesis skills. Oh shit, I just spawned the sun? Synthesis is a fancy word for team chemistry. Every archetype has very strong moves that take up 2 turns in one, but they're definitely worth the cost. But they only work if you roster the required archetypes. And this is definitely something to consider when you're rostering your crew. What synthesis attacks are available for me? Because if you roster a crew that has no team chem, and a lot of synthesis attacks are unavailable, you will suffer for it. So everyone can run whatever archetype they want with whatever inherited skills from other archetypes they've unlocked, while also trying to run good team chem for well-based synthesis attacks. So let's see how combat turns out. And here it's turn-based combat. And again, I just love the strategy behind this system. You'll see at the top here these crystals. Each crystal represents 1 turn, but you'll notice at some points there's small crystals. Well, these still represent 1 turn. The difference is if you hit an enemy's weakness, that crystal is only half used up. So you can go again. But you can't make a small crystal smaller. And it's just such a great system. It's like, I'm not kidding when I say it's the best combat experience I've ever been through. Especially when you consider there's a pass option. Because out of all the options to attack, do a magic attack, guard, use an item, there's also what I said was the pass move, which is quite plainly you just skip your turn.
Now why would I do that?
And it takes up half a crystal point. But this can be used very well in strategy. Sometimes it's definitely worth passing, using up half a crystal, than just either guarding or using what could be a useless move and taking up a full crystal.
The next one's
I want to see what Stroll's got.
After you. Your turn.
God, I just like, I've never felt so well, like a well-oiled, running good combat system, like hours, like 60 to 100 when you really, you know, hone in your archetypes and combat abilities. Combat goes so smooth.
This is our opportunity.
That's how easy we kill these guys. Watch this.
I'm all prepared.
Done.
You know what? I'm not done talking about combat. The reason why? Well, this is kind of the part of the video where I transition from the gameplay and story to the presentation. But the presentation is a huge part of why combat works. From start to finish, it's a spectacle. Every time you stun an enemy in overworld combat and you begin the attack, the assault, it's a really cool, animated, glowing eyes kind of headshot. And then you get into the middle of combat, the main, you know, meat of the sandwich. And the moves are unbelievable. A lot can be said about the animation for just basic moves, but synthesis skills that have their own cutscenes, my god, they're so good.
Here!
Well, thanks. Quite a boon.
Beelzebub! Let's do this!
I'm finished about combat now, but we're still on the presentation side. And of course, with Atlas, that's sort of their main calling card. To describe the art style here, I would honestly call it like chunky and scratchy. That's a compliment, by the way. You can see it everywhere in the main menu, on text boxes. This sort of art style permeates throughout the whole game, and it's just always good. The art style of Atlas games really makes you think about games that aren't made from Atlas, that have a very much more standard side of menus. Just seems so much more bland. Voice acting is top notch. Music here is great, with a little bit of a hiccup. Atlas is known for great music along with great visuals. Great music is brought here. In this game, Metaphor actually says in-game that music is the first form of magic that the world has ever known. And I'm a little biased, but I really like that, because I've always said on my YouTube channel that music is on screen 100% of the time. Music is one of the only things that you can consistently 100% of the game time take in from the game itself. And Metaphor's music definitely goes for a pretty unique style, and there are a lot of memorable soundtracks. The kind of tracks where you're just walking in real life and you don't even realize that you're playing the soundtrack in your head. What's the hiccup, you might be asking? What do you mean the music isn't 100% great? Well, the dungeon music, you spend a lot of time in dungeons in this game. They sort of meld together. I'll speak more on dungeons later, because I do have some pretty not great things to say about them, but the music, again, it doesn't help that a lot of the music blends together for dungeons. Like, the city music's fine, everywhere else is fine, but dungeon music, to put into perspective, in one of the missions where you're trying to track down this guy, this soundtrack plays. And this is the only place in the entire game this soundtrack plays. Now, I remember that soundtrack clear as day. I'll be honest, a lot of the soundtracks you hear a lot in the dungeons, I don't remember, and I've heard them a lot, so that says a lot. But you know what does stick out, at least in the terms of helping Metaphor ReFantazio stick out against other games, is the fact that animated cutscenes are here. And these never get old. Having animated cutscenes in a game like this it brings so much life to the characters. I love animated cutscenes. Anytime an animated cutscene starts, you sit up in your chair and you go, oh shit, animated cutscene.
I'll take you with me beyond the sky!
What the?
Oh my god.
Not yet. Trust your technology, Neurus. It's time.
Holy fuck.
Let's fly! Possible. It can fly. Yeah! We're flying like a bally bird with wings and all. Did you not see that? How do you like that?
My ears are popping.
Overall impact from Metaphor ReFantazio. What are my overall thoughts? Well, let's get back to the dungeons. And I'll pair this with the fact that I will say this game, in terms of high fidelity graphics, is extremely not up to date. The reason for that is that it's running on the Persona 5 engine, an engine that let Persona 5 release on the PS3. So you're really running off of a PS3 capable engine for Metaphor. Dungeons, there's times in this game where like plants look hilariously bad textured. Patches of grass look like GameCube style. But it sticks out pretty bad in dungeons. Like the dungeon design and style of dungeons, you could tell me, hey, the developers just made this RNG generated, randomly generated dungeons. I would be like, oh yeah. But I'm pretty sure they're not. And it is the roughest thing about this game is that main story dungeons, right? They're okay. But there is a lot of side dungeons you do in this game for quests, and they blend together so much. A lot of them even have the same layout paths. I can't deny that the side dungeons are the weakest part of this game. There's also no romance. I know a lot of people say, who cares, whatever. Let me romance, come on. And if I'm really looking at this game with a microscope for some negatives, the story is a tad bit predictable once you get into the last, say 25%. And really in that final 25% of the game story, I never, shit my pants with a twist or had some crazy moments. Yeah, there's some great cutscenes, right? But that's only really looking for those big, huge moments. The story from the beginning is a nice, well-paced, gradual climb all the way to the end.
From my fingertip flies a butterfly, how it pines for the moon up high. Fire calls its name, fly to the flame, burning as free as it can be. Out there.
I do think it's a little bit middle heavy, percentage-wise, 30 to 75 offer, that was the most invested I've been in this, was in that portion. I was, really into it.
Like the wind, shine through darkest night, won't never stray. Trust your eyes to steer you on. Trembling finger, hold close to my dream. Dawn will break now.
How do I condense a 100-hour game experience into just one video? Well, I can just say this game kicks ass. It has some unbelievably addicting combat, flashy, memorable visuals, and some really memorable story moments that I will remember for a long-ass time.
Talented and famed a songstress she may be, you must remember to contain yourselves.
Songstress? Wait, is she the same Nydia lady who sang at the opening ceremony?
Aye, but that's... Oh, blast it all, I can't take it anymore. I didn't know the suspensions anywhere. You had...
I thought he was going after the chick, not the gauntlet runner. That's fucking hilarious. I swear they just put a Scooby-Doo sound effect in there.
So even though I feel a little shifted that I never got to, officially romanced Yuffie in the game due to no romance, I'm still willing to give this game a very solid 9.3 out of 10. So that's it. Metaphor ReFantazio. God. Man, when's the next Atlas game that's coming out? Because I kind of want to play one again. For real though, I've literally only played Persona 5 and Metaphor for Atlas games, so bring on Persona 4 Golden, Persona 3 Reload, Persona 6 has to be around the corner. But for now, I'm going to go back and play some shorter games, I will say. There's a lot on my list. I gotta get through some of them. Christmas deals are coming up, so I'm probably gonna pick up some even more games. Wish me luck. For now, I'm your host, Sailplane Entertainment. Hope you enjoy this review. Peace out.
The next one's
I want to see
yours.
what Scrolls got.
After you. Your turn.
Crimson Mood Art? I gotta see what that is.
Let's make an end of it.
We'll combine our strength.
What the hell does that do?
This is it.
What the fuck? What? I just got like fucking like 20,000 damage combined.
I think I'm getting.
What is up? I know what you're thinking. You're only here for the bonus Easter egg soundtrack I put in at the end of every video. But did you also know I have a donation page under Buy Me a Coffee? Donate whatever you want to my channel and I'll put half of that back to an environmental charity. So that's that. Enjoy the music. Peace out.